Okay, we're getting up to the start now of our next race, which is the Visitors Challenge Cup. And we have Oxford University versus TBC Racing from the USA. Again, another corker. We're getting to Friday afternoon. Oxford University are absolutely littered with outstanding athletes in this crew. Some of them just come back from the World Under-23s where they've got a gold medal.
Yeah, this is one hell of an Oxford crew. As you say, 3 under-23 world champions. And also, you know, boat race representatives from the OUBC squad. So it should be interesting. You can see they're out to an early 3/4 of a length lead against the guys from the US. But as I said, we said this earlier about the Dutch Jess, they don't come across here if they're not going to try their very hardest to win the event. They don't come across unless they think they've got the raw speed to do it. So let's just see how they get on.
Yeah, and this TBC crew had a good race yesterday. A couple of Brits in there, a Canadian and an Aussie, so we've got well represented globally, and they're sticking with them. Fast start, slipped out there, the Oxford Brooks boys. They're probably so race ready if they've just been to the under-23s. But the TBC guys sticking to their stern.
Yeah, I love the interpretation of what a straight line looks like for some of these Cox's 4 crews. They always seem to have problems with their steering. You can see here both crews hugging the middle of the river. Thankfully, I think Oxford established enough of a margin here so as to not be a disturbance to TBC on the right-hand side. A little bit of context on the TBC boat as we see them come towards us. I know that they are all George Washington residents / university students who have transitioned over to TBC Racing because George Washington essentially were no longer able to fund the men's squad. So great to see them here in slightly different colours racing on the Henley stretch. It's always fantastic that US crews are able to make the trip over and support us in racing in our intermediate, student, senior categories. And you can see here, although they are putting in their best effort on the right-hand side, Oxford just a class above at the moment.
Yeah, and this event is the intermediate event. So it's normally where we see our under-23s, our very good university students, or sometimes you see the top club athletes going into this. But it's certainly it's a punchy race, and we saw a lot of collisions and clashes and booms in this race yesterday. It's very hard with the washy conditions, and that there was booms on one side of you. So luckily these two crews are keeping to their stations, making it fairly textbook at the moment.
Yeah, this Oxford crew stroked by Felix Drinkle, former Oxford University Boat Club president, so an athlete with a hell of a lot of pedigree and one of the bright talents, I think, of the next couple of Olympiads for the Great Britain national team. And I think they'll fancy their chances in the Visitors Challenge Cup. Naturally, there are going to be 2 or 3 crews who will stand in their way, and really, really strong, as we always come to expect in the Visitors Challenge Cup. It attracts basically under-23 talent, you know, of the highest calibre. So I think it's going to be a fiercely contested event, but I think Oxford will definitely fancy their chances. They're going to have to probably face up against a Leander, maybe an Oxford Brooks, so that'll be a local derby, but looking forward to seeing how they fare as this competition progresses.
Yeah, the winners of this race will race against Leander, who we saw this morning knock out their clubmates in the Leander Thames composite. But the Oxford crew look really well drilled. I mean, these guys have done the boat race together. They've spent the whole of the winter through lockdown together, rowing under those tricky conditions which lots of athletes have, and they look like a class act. That cohesion, that hang off the oar, keep the arm straight, don't be tempted to pull on it. It's a pushing sport, not a pulling sport, and they're doing it very well.
Yeah, it's the Sean Bowden style, isn't it? It absolutely screams Sean Bowden, and when you've been coached by him for a period of time, you come to learn that that's the way he likes his athletes to row, and that's the way he wants his athletes to race, and that's in pure evidence here from the guys in dark blue. I mean, you've got 3 under-23 world champions, and not from previous years. That's from 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So, you know, loads of talent, loads of pedigree. Although they were on the losing side in the boat race in April, I'm sure they managed to at least heal some of those demons by winning gold in the Czech Republic in May. So a really good crew, and you're right, Jess, they row so well together. There's loads of cohesion. You can tell that they're athletes who have competed together throughout the year and throughout the season, and probably certainly in the case of Felix and Toby, I know that they've been rowing together for 2 or 3 years now, so loads of cohesion in that crew.
Little look round from Rory McCurdy from the bow seat at TBC. Are they there? I can see their puddles. And they've passed Rumnham, and they're coming down to the last 600 metres here. What's he going to tell his crew now? What would you shout? Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I mean, it's so tricky, right, Jess? When you lose sight and I suppose you are unable to hear the crew ahead of you anymore, how do you react? How do you respond? How do you keep your crew motivated to drive? Because rowing is a sport that you have to give all of your physical capability to be able to succeed in it. And if you've got no motivation to do so because you can't see your opposition, you can't feel them, you almost can't smell them, it becomes increasingly difficult to do so. So for TBC, you know, you feel for them at this stage. They're unlikely to reclaim this deficit, but I suppose that the rowing through the stadia that is the Henley Stewards enclosure offers its own reward in a way.
Yeah, and they're putting a good show. They're rowing really nicely. The Oxford crew here have taken it down. You can see they've dropped the strokes per minute. They look like they're conserving a bit of energy for tomorrow. The danger of that is letting a crew back into the race, but I think TBC have got quite a bit of clear water to make up, but they're going to hold their heads high and they're going to charge down this Stewards enclosure. Nice shot there. Here they go. Lots of experience in this TBC crew. Rory McCurdy there's done the PE for Henley twice for Shrewsbury School, so he's been down here a fair few times, but I think Oxford are going to hold this off in the last few strokes. Got to have confidence in the Oxford crew to just paddle over the last few bits. And they're going to actually bring the margin down to about a length. That's a win for Oxford University Boat Club in the Visitors Challenge Cup over TBC Racing.